Gets me so excited in my panties.
Don't hurt yourself.
Okay, episode 7, for real this time. We are going to cover the freaking clash of the consoles that is the PS5 and the Xbox world coming into it. As much as we can, we'll tip off a little bit about our regular things with the quiz at the end. It's going to be lots of good info here. It's a hot mess, but it's going to be good. All right. First things first, house chores. How's everybody's weekend? What we've been playing and what we have been doing. I'll just, before I forget, like I do. So I mentioned last time that I was downloading Black Desert, which I did, and I tried to play, mostly half because it's like awesome looking, and I don't like it. So I'm about to uninstall it, even though I don't need the memory. Like, this is no surprise. It's too. It reminded me of like a mobile like phone game. When you get a phone game and you start playing it, and it just like, bam, you got this and you got this. Like, I had so much stuff going on instantly, and I didn't know like what to do or like where to go. And it was like, just go over here and do this, and I would open like another, and it could be different on on computer. But on the console, like, if you hit menu button, there's like 30 options of stuff. And there was like, here's your moves, here's this and that, and this like dungeon thing. And like, I shouldn't even be able to see that kind of stuff yet if I don't know like what I'm doing, to me. Cause it like, I didn't even know. I knew like 2 ways to attack, but I knew I was supposed to be able to do more. And like, I found a thing where I could unlock other moves. I'm like, am I supposed to do this yet? What? Like it, and the quest was, I was just burning through the quest and not pay attention, so I didn't know really what I was doing because I was just trying to like. I'm like, is this like a tutorial thing, or am I really started this? It was too much. I couldn't get into it just like to play. So negative.
But it's an MMO kind of, right?
Extremely.
Yeah, it's an MMO. It's a lot. I tried to get into it, and I had the same problem. There's so much going on, and there's no way I could keep up. My roommate plays a bunch, and he can tell me all about it. And there's like,
I know,
dude, I can't. Like, there's no way.
I know WoW has this problem. Like, as a new player comes in, you're like, there is so much because WoW's been around for 15 years, and I see this has been around for a good long time too. It's that these MMOs, they don't know how to cater to a new player. As soon as you get in, you get like 20 quests, you don't know what's going on. It's real hard to wing into one of these MMOs unless you get in at the very start.
Right, and that's got to be a constant battle with them. Like, you don't, like, you have to keep your audience that you have, the people that have been playing and they're into it. How do you keep them? Like, add more. They want more. They need a new twist, a new change, this and that. And what that ends up doing is this exact effect. It makes it like a cluster of stuff for someone who's starting on new, and I'm sure it's hard for them to really weed out like the game experience for both of those people, because you can't just make a simple version. And then at what level or what time do you tell them, hey, you want to click over to the rest of the half of the game world that you've been missing that we have set for people around this level or something? So it is like, that's got to be really hard because people want more, except for people that just start playing it and they have the problem that we just talked about. I'm like, what's going on? So I'm sure it's a constant battle between them, but I mean, whatever. So that's about it. I tried to play some Rocket League, and I think that's it. Pretty much
Solid one.
School and work and blah 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 blah. Adulting. What about you, fellas?
It's always good. I will have been doing some adulting, trying to buy my first car. It's nerve-wracking. It's a lot of money, and yeah. Besides that, gaming-wise, I've been playing a lot of TFT, Teamfight Tactics, from League of Legends. They had just had a new series come out, like a new season. Been playing a lot of that. Been enjoying it. I don't play it too often. Usually when the new season comes out, because it's just so fresh. And there's so many options and combinations you can do. I enjoy mix and matching it up. It's a good it has a good hype for the first 2 weeks, at least for me. And then I'll go back to other stuff. Here recently, I haven't really been liking competitive stuff. Recently, I've been trying to keep it chill and just watching my shows and playing some like Iron
Yeah.
Harvest Story. Right now, I'm pretty into that. Yeah. Other than that, pretty much same stuff. Been enjoying it. Moved my whole rig to the other side of my room, so my room's completely different. Got everything hooked up, super
Ooh,
nice.
big changes.
Enjoying
You gonna
it.
shave your beard next?
What about you, Brandon? Other than WoW, I don't shave beards.
Actually, I haven't played much WoW this week. What I've been mostly spending my time doing is checking Walmart, Target every 3 or 4 minutes, seeing if I can pre-order a PlayStation. That's pretty much been consuming me. I did buy the new Mario, Mario All Stars, I think it's called,
Yeah, yeah.
which is Mario 64, Sunshine, and Galaxy. But my son likes to play it on the Switch, and he messed up on the joystick, so it has to drift to it. And
You can't.
I'm so frustrated with it because
Yeah.
I really don't want to buy a new joystick,
Think.
but I'm gonna have to. And I really haven't played much this week. Downloaded
yeah,
Mafia,
Definitive.
the new one, the remake of the original. I thought it came out tonight. Yeah, I thought it came out tonight, but turns out it comes out on Thursday.
We
So
stayed
that's
up
pretty
this late
sad.
for nothing.
But that's pretty much it.
I have a question.
Yeah, pretty much, right?
Sorry, I never thought about this
But
until
yeah,
you mentioned
but
that
yeah,
because I don't own a
go ahead.
Switch, which I've been so close to buying a couple times. So I probably might get for my kids quoted for Christmas. Can you buy half of one of those controllers? Like if your son Cheeto fingers up one of the joysticks or something and messes it up, can you buy half, or do you have to buy it as a pair? Do we know this?
I know that there's the Switch Lite that's just like the Joy-Cons
Right,
in
it's
like,
like
a
a
screen. But that's just like if you want to hold it. But if you want like the whole like TV experience thing, I don't know. Like probably not at like major retail stores, but at like maybe some like trade stuff like
Well-
pawn shops, stuff like that. I'm pretty sure you could buy it unless they're synced together.
Yeah,
like
that's what
they're
I'm getting
meant
at.
to be in a pair. But I don't
As
know.
if you
I'd
can
have to
get,
ask
because that's got to
somebody.
happen.
So you can mix and match, but they do kind of sell them together, until they can get more money out of you.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
I'm not a fan of the Switch Lite because there is the drift on the control, on the analog sticks, and with the Switch Lite, you get that drift on it. You can't just swap it out. You you gotta send it to Nintendo, and they take forever to fix it.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah,
I just had to throw away.
Nintendo. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just had to throw away two controllers because I just could not put up with both of them had a joystick problem from my Xbox One, and it was like unplayable. And they're really old anyway too, but I was like tired of it.
It's one of the bad things about the analog sticks nowadays. And Nintendo is terrible with the joysticks. I barely had this. Granted, my son plays like a 7-year-old, so everything breaks easy for him. But so I'll eventually get one. And it's funny because it's always on the left side. I have like 4 of the right side ones. They all work, but not the left side.
Huh. Some good statistics. All right. Okay, so for this episode, guys, we're diving into the hot topic of the game world right now, which is the Xbox, Microsoft versus Sony, PlayStation 5, new consoles coming out, what's what. We're going to hit you with some of the specs, how they look, little features, a little dive into what the company's doing to kind of sway you and things like that. Try to wrap this all up in a pretty little game chatter bundle just for your ears only. Thought we'd lay it out in like 5 simple steps. Number 1, we're going to cover the physical looks, what we like, shapes, curb appeal. 2, get into the nitty-gritty specs, numbers. 3, kind of the launch games coming out with them and exclusives, what might pull you to one side or the other. 4, hot and heavy with the controllers. Wrap our minds and our hands around those. And number 5, our overall feels and looks for what we think. So, without further ado, how do they look what we like? It's kind of perfect. We're just talking about the sizes of these because it's kind of, unless you have seen them compared to something else, it's kind of hard to know where you're going to put them. And that's kind of the first thing everyone does when you get it. You got to put it somewhere. Where can it fit? Can you go on your side, on the sides of them? Everything like that. So what, right off the bat, I thought looking at the Xbox X, which is that like rectangle prism cube shaped thing, the black one, it looks like the biggest. But actually, which we're looking into, that the PlayStation 5 is much taller than that. Is that right, Brandon?
Yeah, it's taller. It's not as wide, but if you were to lay it on its side, it would be more wider. So was it the length of it's longer? I think
Right.
good margin too. I think
it's like
it's a hunk.
It's like almost 3
big,
inches, I think, taller than the X, the PS5.
Yeah, it's 4 inches taller.
4 inches taller. Holy cow!
That's a big boy.
Right. It's symmetrical.
Have that
Yeah.
the described slot. But yeah, it is. I think it's appealing. I think it looks like the air vents are on the top, right, for like airflow and stuff. So I know there's a lot of like talk about that with both consoles, that the Xbox air vent is also, if you stand it up, the fan is on the top. So if it's idle, like dust would fall into it, this and that. It does, the Xbox X does have a top fan that pushes upward, so it pulls air through the system from the bottom. So it's not like pulling air from the outside into it. So I just thought that was interesting about just like airflow and like dust management, because if you haven't dusted off your console, you should, because you'd be surprised. A sucker gets a little dusty if you don't take care
This is
of
the
it.
evil. I keep bandanas on my stuff to keep dust off of. Go ahead, Brandon.
It's the Xbox, the X. I hate these stupid names. We're gonna call it just the X. It just looks like a little cube computer. That's all. I mean, it looks cool. I don't think it looks too bad. It doesn't like stand out too much. I don't think it looks that bad. I kind of enjoy the PlayStation look because it's different. We haven't seen anything like it. If you were watching Star Trek and you saw, you'd be like, oh yeah, that kind of goes with it. It goes in there somehow. So I kind of like the space, different little look from it. But also, there is something to say for the classic look of the X. Just like you said, the little cube. I personally think the S, which is their smaller version, it looks terrible to me. That little screen on the side. I've seen pictures of people making it look like a washing machine.
Yeah.
And, I've seen those.
So, if I had to pick one, I like the PlayStation just because how different it is. They kind of went a little. They didn't go safe with it, and I really enjoy when the people go over the top a little bit. Sometimes.
Yeah, that's what raises the bar, gets it out there. If we did not know what a PlayStation was, we didn't know what an Xbox was, and I saw both these sitting on a shelf, I mean, the X is a square, and the PlayStation 5 has some curves to it. It's got how the blue inlay lights are up top. Green, or the Xbox has that X or the green lights on the X coming out the top. But my first look, I do like the PlayStation look more. But once I did realize that the X does have feet on the side also, so you can lay this down. It can be laid on the side like normal, like I guess you would assume like normal kind of consoles have been. So that kind of did instantly give me more appeal to it. Because my first thought was, where am I going to put this? And then I found also that the PlayStation 5 is actually taller than the Xbox X. And for those of you at home, I'm sure, again, you've seen the picture, but it's hard to compare it compared if you haven't seen it sitting next to something else. Now, standing up, if you have PlayStation 4, like Pro, if you pull that thing up, it's actually like the PlayStation 4 is a little taller. Or if you have Xbox One on its side up, they're about the same height as the Xbox X. And you can like grab it by one hand width. So it's really like, to me, it was like a full football, like a big football, like they're kind of fat, like wide. So it is that, and the PlayStation is just taller. It is leaner though. So to me, it's more appealing that way. But with the S, I really like the S. And we'll get into not like other, like I said, the specs and price and stuff about that later. But, the best I've seen is that it's quite small. So it's totally different. Very portable, quick move around, especially goes with it being only digital. So you just plop it in your backpack or wherever, take it with you. It's about as long as two Xbox controllers next to each other, and really one controller like deep. Like it is small, which is crazy. And it's kind of in its own field. People were like, is this just supposed to rival the Switch? Or what are they doing with this? Again, because of price point, which we'll cover later. But physically, I like the two color option going on too, where the Xbox X is just black, PlayStation is white and black, and then the S is white and black. So I don't know. I really like the 5 or the S. But to me, as far as physical looks, I will say that I like the PlayStation 5 on the physical look chart. Are we missing anything else on this shape?
On like standing up or on its side, you could fit it to match your room. It's a solid black. It can fit most things. I like the way it looks. With the PlayStation 5, vertically, I think it looks really pretty. I do think it does look really good, but it does also have a stand, right? It offers a stand where you can also go horizontal. I don't like the way it looks horizontal, only because it flares at the top. So when you lay it down, it looks like a weird.
I was thinking of taco.
Like grilled
it
cheese.
looks like a taco.
Yeah.
Like a taco that
There's
breaks.
so many
you know,
memes.
the taco at the bottom break. So you
Yes,
have to
always.
hold it real weird.
Haters gonna hate.
I do like something that I didn't know about the Xbox X until I did research, was there's stuff on the back that allows you to insert a 1 terabyte memory card, so you can upgrade.
Yeah, but
you can
both
get
have
more
expandable.
memory.
Oh,
So I thought
yeah.
that was really nice. They do?
Yeah.
I will
Ooh,
say
okay. Cool.
there is a rumor of a black PlayStation out there. And there's
Have
also
you heard? Oh, I think you're going there. Sorry, go. Proceed.
there's also rumored that we don't know for sure yet. You might be able to pop off those little white panels and replace them with different colors or designs.
Oh,
We don't know for sure, but that is a rumor.
okay.
Take it with all the grains of salt, though. I can
Okay.
also
I've
see.
got a-
I
Go
can
ahead.
like the PlayStation in my house. If I ever can get one pre-ordered, it's gonna have to go on top of my dresser, the table thing, because it's not gonna fit in none of the drawers, the little holes. For someone that doesn't have room up top, I can see how it's a pain in the butt. It's so big, it's awkward looking, and you could put the PlayStation X, either Xboxes, and it would fit in a smaller area. It's not so awkward. You don't have to have this weird stand for it. So I could see the appeal for the Xbox. Still leaning towards the PlayStation though on my pick.
Okay. Let me tip us off a little more conspiracy-ish, just to liven up the spice of life. Have y'all heard of the Xbox Lockhart?
That's it. That's the S.
Yeah. Well, no, it's just a little leak thing, and that part could have been made up, but there was a picture of a white Xbox X controller. So it's supposed to be like already prototype of, like, they always have like the smaller kind of version of the system when it comes out. So there's one that's like, it's just a white cube instead of a rectangle like this that's white.
Yeah, that was the bump. That's not the Lockhart was actually the Series S. That's just how someone thought it might look, but
Okay, that's what I thought.
That's not actually true.
Okay,
that was some guy
perfect.
who made that part up. So these,
This
as
is
far as
why.
we know, yeah, as far as
Yeah.
we know, those are the only two that they have, and they are releasing.
Okay, because that's what I had seen. I was like, that picture doesn't look real, and this will already have a white controller. And I only heard that once part about it. So, okay, perfect. For all those that other may not have known and are questioning the beliefs like I, Brandon's got your answers. All right, guys, shall we get into the freaking numbers game here with the speculations? Points. All right, everybody, open up your
Oh,
screens
boy.
to compare. 1 second.
Yeah, for real. There's
Cue the
so much to
SpongeBob
compare
like voice
to.
guy. Yeah, 30 minutes later. All right, I'll cheat off one because we're gonna get into the main PlayStation 5 and Xbox X, but I wanted to look first, open some eyes, which opened mine about the Xbox S and the Xbox One X. So the best Xbox One gen console. God, this is hard to vocab. Against the new Xbox S digital version. Okay. Golly.
Don't hurt
Yes.
yourself.
Okay, so I know the teraflops is bigger in the S. So the GPU has 6 teraflops in the Xbox One X, and the S only has 4. So it's not necessarily even close. Now, at 6 down to 4, both have expandable memory. I think just with the S does have the SSD with the new ones there. I don't believe the X does. And then the actual like RAM in it in the units themselves. The Xbox One X has just 12 gigabytes, and the S is coming in here at 512 gigabytes. So that's a big difference there. Again, it has the SSD with the S, so it's going to be much speedier. So really, you feel just here in the 6 teraflops versus the 4 of the S, but it's really down to like efficiency. The S is going to be much quicker with just pretty much the engine of it as it gets down to make it as easy to understand, I guess, as possible. Xbox One X, 8-core, 2.3 gigahertz. The S is an 8-core, 3.4 gigahertz. Anyway, all those numbers have a little bit to do, but basic thing is that if you still have your Xbox One X, that thing's still a beast. It's still good, but obviously it's not going to be running as great as the new gen stuff for the Xbox S. So in those $299, it is
Right.
better.
It's
with other features. Anyway, that was rough.
I am looking online right now for Xbox One X. It's still $500. So the Xbox Series S is not meant for people who have that. This is meant for people who's been wanting to get into gaming, but it's been too expensive. They don't want to make that full leap. Xbox said, hey, come to us, $299, get our Game Pass, have a little bit of fun, and It's okay if you don't have a 4K TV. This doesn't even need 4K. This is just get in, play the best games, and if you like it, go ahead and upgrade to the Series X. But Xbox wants you playing their games. They're not too worried. They're just whatever they can do to bring you along, and so they're okay with you keeping your Xbox One X. They're okay with you play on the computer. They just want you playing their game, and that's why the Series S is so cool because the price is so cheap, and a lot of people can get that for Christmas who couldn't afford these big, powerful systems, and some people just don't care
Right.
about 4K. I mean,
Yeah,
Frank, do you have a 4K TV?
I do not.
There's at this point, there's no reason for you to get the Series X without the 4K TV because you're not getting all that extra value out of it. Now, if you're like, well, 2 years from now, by then I'll get one. Yeah, okay, go ahead and get it, and you can enjoy the SSD drive, all that. So I really like how Xbox is like, we're gonna give you the low, but we're also gonna give you the highest. Because as much as I like the PlayStation, the Xbox is a beast. It has 12 titty flaps. It is way better than the PlayStation. And yes, I meant to say titty flaps. It wasn't an accident. um,
It's got the
and
honks, man.
I really want to bring up. People keep hearing us say, and other people say SSD. SSD will help these games load 200% faster.
It's almost instant.
Yeah.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
Solid state drive.
PC players.
For people who don't know.
They've been knowing about this for years. This is
Right,
a
right.
godsend for systems. It's really, really cool. Now, and the PlayStation does have less overall storage. It's not that big of a difference. I think both of them are still going to need external memory. Like on my One X right now, I have a 3 GB external drive. You probably going to have to go ahead and get one of those for both of them. But if I had to
Right,
pick
the
one right
option's
now,
there.
Right.
yeah. If I had to pick one right now, PlayStation, Xbox, which one has the better specs? I'm going Xbox because it does have the top, but it also has the bare minimum. And just to also say, the PlayStation, the hard drive, I mean the disc and non-disc one, it's the same system. There's no spec difference. So I kind of really enjoyed that with the Xbox.
Yeah,
That's true. I agree with the same thing. It's with like I feel like we need the storage when it comes to that kind of stuff. Having more storage is important because games are getting way bigger. Games are getting huge, and you need the storage. I like the S series because you're still getting next gen titles like that you can play with your friends. It doesn't matter you have an S or an X. You're playing the same game with your friends, and I like that
Yeah.
a lot too.
yeah. Well,
Dakota, if you had to pick one, are you picking the Xbox on spec wise?
Specs wise, yeah, I'm giving it the skulls. I'm giving it the rating. For specs, the numbers are there. It's they got it on top. The Xbox Series X got it.
yeah.
Joanne,
The
you talking?
So the specs, the Xbox does creep up a little bit on some of these. I'll just run through some numbers real quick. Again, both and correct me, Brandon, on this because you hold most of information very well. Both top line, one's Xbox X and PlayStation 5 with the hard drives. With both of them are $500, and the PS5 step down is just the digital version, so there's not the disk drive in that one there. That's $400, and then $299 for the S. Now again, the S has way lower specs than these, but like you mentioned, it's for availability purposes. It can get into it's going to be in a lot more households because of that reason, because some people just want to have the new thing, be up to date with it, be able to get their hands on the new system and have it, and that is affordable for sure compared to these other options. Release dates, I believe the Xbox are coming out November 10th, And then November 12th for PlayStation, that's here in America, except for Europe, I think comes out on the 19th. Let's see here. Again, the hertz actually is the main thing. It's almost like the PlayStation is kind of tightly more efficient, but forced power is kind of coming out of the Xbox X here. Both 8 core, 3.5 gigahertz with the PlayStation 5, 3.8 from the Xbox. Again, with the teraflops, kind of part of the power as well. The GPU, 10.3 teraflops, PlayStation 12, even for the Xbox. Again, you mentioned the storage space itself, very useful. Both have SSDs, that standard state drive. Is that right? Anyway, SSD, solid state drive. Yeah, loading screens. Everything's loading almost instantly. You can really stay immersed in the game and play, which is a big deal as far as storage. 825 gigabytes for the PlayStation, a whole terabyte for the Xbox. Both go up to 8K. Both run up to 120 frames per second. Both can run hardcore 4K. All that's nice and all. But again, by specs, for this point, Xbox is up there a little bit. Will that be noticeable? Again, if you don't have a 4K, probably not. The main thing is that they're going to function quickly and work well enough for the developers to produce and put out whatever they want to just be ridiculous with the games that are coming out now. So for specs, Xbox is winning a little bit. Will it be noticeable enough to be like, oh man, you've got a slow PlayStation 5? Like, not really. And again, they're both the same price anyway. Yeah,
right.
And they're both
close.
The same price. So
Also, the only games you would really know a difference are obviously third-party games. So third-party games are games that are on both systems. But the makers of those games makes it where the lowest system can run it. So it's not going to be that big of a difference because they're not going to make it where Xbox it tops out the Xbox, so PlayStation 5 players don't get to play it because it's so much they can't handle it.
Yeah.
So that's not going to be an issue. I mean, you might notice like I'm talking like a couple grains of grass look a little better or something. It's really not going to be that big of a difference. Maybe on low times, but we really don't know too much until we can actually get our hands on both of them, which I'm trying. And then we can really be able to tell you how good these are. Because a lot of the stats on it are custom, like SSDs,
right.
And so it's hard for us to know all these stats, what they really mean, until we actually can play them in November.
Correct. Yeah. Numbers is one thing, but once we have actual visual comparison of this game versus this game played on this system and this system, is what's really going to work. One of these may not, once they actually get put to good use and everything. One of these systems may, have like a 25% fail rate, and we'll see a whole new Ring of Death or something. Like, of course, that's always in the cards, but who knows? But so as far as specs goes, yeah.
You said the forbidden word. Someone's Xbox blew up.
Oh no, my Xbox is on. You be quiet.
Just like
yeah, it's walking towards me.
Oh god.
Yeah.
All right. Gosh, if I got something else. Anyway, okay. As far as specs, anything else we're missing with these guys? Covered visuals, size, measurements, or the basics of the specs here. We can roll into the game exclusives and launch games ideas and our feels about those.
So yeah, and when it comes to exclusives, I've always been kind of on the side of PlayStation. The past few years, PlayStation has some very nice exclusives. They've been killing it. Like when it confirmed launch games that we have for the PlayStation, they have going on. Like I think we have Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which I think is on both. We have Godfall, Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition. They're making again. Demon Souls. A lot of these I don't know. I think the biggest one, in my opinion, might be the Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales version. The Spider-Man game was awesome. It had beautiful feedback. I had friends who had PlayStations were telling me, "Dude, like you're missing out. This game was insane," and I felt I was missing out, man. It felt so cool. So I'm so glad the Spider-Man series is going on. And I was trying to compare like between both series, both consoles, which had like
replayability,
continuing series, like they're getting Spider-Man back. Xbox is supposed to be getting Halo. You know, these series that we've played before, and they're like we can keep playing the story on them. And then of course each console is going to have brand new titles and stuff. And then for the Xbox for games that are coming out, we do have Dirt 5. I know that one. It's a good racing game. We got FIFA. Gears 5, which is it's not a new game, but it's being like kind of re-released with it's called the Series X upgraded version, so it's probably gonna have just be enhanced. It's gonna look better. It's gonna feel better. They do have Gears Tactics, which is it's on computer right now, and it is on Xbox, but they're redoing it, re-releasing it. Really fun. Watch Dogs Legions is pretty good. I never played any of the Watch Dogs, but I heard it was pretty sick. So like it's kind of biased in my point because I'm more familiar with these titles, but I would give it to man. If only Halo was coming out in launch, I would give it to Xbox, but it's not coming out in launch. That made me upsetting.
Dismay in the vajayjay. I tell you what. So
yeah, what do you how you feel about it, Brandon?
You go ahead, Frank, because I'm about to blow the shit out of this. Go ahead.
No. You've got... All right. I'll wean off the crowd with my little bit of bits here. So yeah, we know Spider-Man Miles Morales coming out is probably going to be definitely exclusive or a release with launch for the PlayStation. Halo was not, which probably definitely would have been, but hopefully you're getting for the best reasons. They should be. We've got for the Xbox also like Hellblade 2 should be coming out soon along with that. They got the new Forza, which is going to also be going against pretty much like the new Gran Turismo 7 for the PlayStation. And as far as racing games go, like they've been pretty like gorgeous for a while now. Like they've got the graphics down on those things and the sound. I mean, it's just odd. Like they look great. So that's going to kind of feed into my opinion on why one would be better into like the controller differences. Again, which we'll talk about later. But then Xbox X also getting like State of Decay 3, which is a pretty cool zombie game. I haven't heard or looked into much of this one. I mean, they were cool, but I mean, I don't get that much into games to really love and play, but it was cool. I did play number 1 pretty well. And then my own biased feels as the new Fable. So Fable 4, teased, talking about, that is a love of mine, hardcore crushing on that. So I'll be watching that for a while. So that, I mean, the Xbox too. But yeah, as far as exclusive things though, they just got like, I don't think it is Bloodborne. Do we know? I heard they were talking about making a new one of those. Is that both consoles, third party, or is that just PlayStation? I think it's just PlayStation.
Don't fact check it, or fact check it. Don't quote me out. I think it's PlayStation.
You talking about the remake of Demon Souls?
No. Bloodborne.
It's the same. It's the same. Bloodborne they're the same kind of game. It's all in that series.
Maybe that's what I'm feeling. But then yeah, they got the new Final Fantasy and then Ragnarok, God of War stuff. Okay, go Brandon, take it away.
All right, y'all. You can delete the last 10 minutes. It's PlayStation. There's no ands, if, or buts about it. On release date, on the day you go to the store, Xbox has nothing. They have a couple third-party games, Assassin's Creed, not even Godfall. That's a PlayStation game. They have we can get Fortnite, so you can get Assassin's Creed and Fortnite. Now I'm gonna be able to get Spider-Man. I'm gonna get Godfall. I had Demon
Souls. They had
Souls.
another. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was gonna say there was a new Horizon game they were coming out with for the PlayStation soon.
The problem is, the games you keep announcing, yes, they are coming, but we don't have a date, so we don't know when they're coming. We know Demon Souls is coming out on release date. We know Spider-Man is coming out on release date. Yeah. Godfall is on release date. All these other games, they just said, "Oh, it's coming, it's coming." We also know Ratchet and Clank said it's in the release window. PlayStation actually has games that are coming out soon. The only big one that Xbox had was Halo, and we don't know when it's coming out. Rumor is it could be pushed all the way back to 2022. And if that's the case, at this time, there is no games for the Xbox. That being
Yeah.
said, news broke today. Xbox bought Bethesda's parent company, and so Microsoft now owns all
Cinemax.
like Skyrim, the Sky. What's that new one they call it? The Sky game.
Oh, I
No Man's?
forgot the name of it, but I know she.
It's the new space game.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. The Star
they,
something.
yeah, whatever it was. They own Wolfenstein now. They own Doom. They own all this, and I would imagine they're gonna make these exclusives. This could be a really big pickup
Oh.
4 or 5 years down the road when these games starts coming out. But until then, you have no games, especially if Halo never comes out. And I have all these games at launch. Plus, I know God of War is being worked on now. Um, Final Fantasy's going. Final Fantasy. I don't even like Final Fantasy 7 is amazing.
That's right.
Final Fantasy 15.
Respect.
It was 4 guys riding in a car for 30 hours, wasting my damn time. I'm sorry. I beat the game. Was like, what the hell was that? I don't know what I did. It was the story. I saw porn star giving me gas. That's pretty much what I saw.
That's my takeaway from the game.
But the new one is like going back to medieval time. I was like, ooh,
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited. And PlayStation also does this thing where they get exclusive parts. Like, hey, you get these guns or you get this and this for the first few months. And Xbox just doesn't seem to do that. And so when there's a game where, like Destiny, I can get both copies, but on the PlayStation's version, I get all this extra stuff. Why would I not go for the PlayStation version?
Right.
Xbox.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
And if you notice all the Xbox, like when they're promoting the games, they keep using like Gears of War. Gears of War came out a year and a half ago. I mean, it was a great game, but I've already beat it. I want to play games I haven't beat.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I don't even find it close. PlayStation wins this, but I'm excited what Xbox is doing. It's a long process, and it's gonna be years before we actually see the results of it. But I tell you what, about 5 years from now, if you want to play an RPG, you go to Xbox. That's gonna be your RPG killers.
Yeah, I definitely agree. PlayStation seems like straight out the gate they're killing it. I hopefully with the Game Pass, maybe we get some cool stuff from Game Pass. Maybe they're gonna give us some stuff that we haven't gotten, or they're gonna share something with us. I think that's the only thing I can really hope for. But I totally agree, and I am excited about that buyout from Bethesda. I would hope they'll put more money and more like people into it. We'll be getting new Skyrim faster. We'll be getting just other things and more Wolfenstein maybe. That is a long con though. That's like I'm gonna buy this console now and I'm gonna wait. Like that's no fun.
Yeah, they have it's respect. You see that they may have see this fault, so they are addressing it as fast as they can, and trying to get things done to set up for like you said the long road down there and get some things headed their way. I want to talk about with part of the games here and with the Game Pass. So the PlayStation has their what's it called? What's it called, Brandon? The PS Plus or PlayStation?
Yeah, it's PlayStation Plus.
PlayStation Plus stuff. So they got a lot of games rolling out with that too that are going to be part of that you can play. But first I want to mention before I forget this, is the new so we saw a little bit about the Harry Potter RPG game. Again, do we know if that's third party or only exclusive to PlayStation?
That's gonna be third party. It'll be third party.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, man, I haven't thought about that. Surely it's third party. If it's only PlayStation, I really want to play that. So anyway, okay. But yeah, so part of like with the PlayStation and the Xbox 2, so the Xbox is almost all generation backwards compatible. So you can put certain Xbox like legacy, original Xbox like Halo into your X and play that thing. To the 360, almost all, I think all the one version stuff, so you can do that. The PlayStation 5 only goes back to the PS4, and then older games, if you have like the digital aspect of it with the PS Plus, or I believe that's, if I'm calling it right, you'll get games, they still have like other Final Fantasies like Monster Hunter, they got God of War on there too, older Ratchet and Clanks, Infamous, Battlefield, stuff like that. So you'll have all of those also with what they're coming out of the gate with. But it is neat, again, like we just discussed, like out of the gate, yes, PlayStation 5 is going to be what you can actually use. Like, it's one thing to buy a new console, but can you use it and play a new game with it? Like, are you just gonna be, I got a new console and now I'm playing, Halo 2 on it, and that's cool, but like I want to see what these 12 teraflops and 3.8 gigahertz can do and run on a new game, and I can't see that yet. So to wrap it up as far as with the games, ultimately, I believe, yes, that the PlayStation 5 is giving Xbox a hell of a time with this, because whoever gets it in the door first, like if certain kids and their parents, like, what do you want? Want to play this Spider-Man? What's on PlayStation? So they buy a PlayStation. Like, they're probably not going to get an Xbox down the road too. Like, I just bought you the PlayStation 5 a year ago or something like that. Like, once they get in households, that's already, you got them kind of thing. So eventually when the prices go down, things come out later, like you said, there will be a lot of potential with that. But yes, I think we've covered that. It's lots of games, more potential with the PlayStation 5 on all that aspect. Shall we roll into controllers? Thoughts and specky doos on this, because I love controller talk.
Let's roll into it. I also enjoy this controller stuff.
There's so many great like pun dad jokes. I'm trying not to say it. I want to see if y'all do it too. And no one's done any dad jokes yet, because we can't get a handle on this. Thank you.
I need to open up my God dang it. I need to open up my my dad joke repertoire, however you call it. But so yeah, both controllers are nice. Just straight up, I think, just so basic. I think the PlayStation 5 is new and pretty good to look at. I think the Xbox is simplistic, and just they took what they had that was awesome and they just messed with it a little bit, and we like it. PlayStation, Brandon, I'm gonna give you the PlayStation 5 controller because that thing is awesome. It's got like the HyperSense or something.
Haptic.
And haptic, yeah, it's really cool. They're pushing the limit. We talked about it a little bit on a previous episode about how we were seeing how cool these things were. But if I were to choose, and this is simply just because comfortability, really, the Xbox X controller it's very like almost identical to the older version, except we have a new button on the front. I believe that's like a share button.
Yes.
So they redid that. The grips on the triggers and the bumpers have little bumps on them now, which the previous ones didn't have. So I can just imagine that feeling a lot better. I like the feel of the trigger. It's good. They didn't change much about it. The D-pad's a little different. It seems more smooth. Not as bulky as the last one was literally just like a cross, to where this one is still a cross, but it has a circle for it. And I like the way it looks. I've always enjoyed it. And yeah, I would be Xbox on this one. But man, the PlayStation 1 looks pretty. It's pretty.
Xbox pisses me off. I love them, but they're just like, hey, if it's not broke, don't fix it. We're gonna.
Right.
It's the share button's the select button. It's the same button. It's already been there. They just changed the name of it. Um, I know. I guess it's now a USB charger, or whatever.
USB-C.
Oh no! Actually, I think no, because they're still doing batteries. So never mind. Forget what I
Yeah.
said there. It's PlayStation again for me. They actually let's change it up. If it doesn't work, we can go back. But let's at least try something different here. And if that they again, this is their word for it. They say when you drive a driving game, you'll be able to tell. You can feel the snow because of the way the resistance is. You'll be able to like a ratchet and clank. If you have a 2-barrel shotgun, pull half down, have resistance, then pull it all the way down. You do 2 bullets instead of 1. They're actually trying to advance the controller.
Yes.
I just don't feel like Xbox is. I feel like they're just we already think we have the best controllers, which I think at this point they probably do have the best controller. I gotta give to the people who are actually trying to make a difference, trying something new. I really, really admire going out of your comfort zone and say, hey, let's try this. Because worst comes to worst, they can just go back to their dual shock controller and everyone's going to be happy.
It's really true.
Yeah, I really like, for that exact reason, same thing as the shape of the console, the shape of these controllers is drastic to the PlayStation, but again, for the Xbox, it is very similar. Like you mentioned, Dakota, the D-pad is more of a dish shape. It's not a flat 4-way. It's the center of it is kind of sunken in. The edges of it are raised, but it still has an overall circle shape. It's supposed to be a little more comfortable as far as the D-pad has pretty corners on it, so it's just not as pokey pretty much. Again, the triggers have the bumps on them, they're a little more tactile, so you can feel them. Ultimately, the little share button added in, and they have the Bluetooth feature also, so you can. This may be also with the DualSense for the new PS5 controller, but I know the Xbox new controller has just a simple Bluetooth connection, so you can bring that over to your tablet or your PC and just use that controller, which is super sweet. Also, if you just wanted to buy the controller, I could buy this controller and play it on my One, so I could still have the benefits of it and play it on my One. And also with the finish of it it's the same kind of that black, but it's a little more textured, I believe. It's supposed to just have not rough, but more feel to it. That's about all of it. And then the battery pack thing. I don't know how they didn't just give an option for chargeable battery packs to come with it. I don't know if they're saving that for later down the road to get you to buy them. But AA batteries, buy a bunch of those, still those. Anyway.
Yep, more money.
More money for it. But just because of this haptic feedback for the DualSense controllers, I think is amazing. Like you said, Brandon, they're trying new things. What else could we do to this? Already before, I didn't know that the PS4 already had a speaker in it, and I can't remember if it had a microphone too. But anyway, this one does. This one does have a speaker or a microphone in it and a speaker, and like you said, the triggers give you feedback. How are your brakes working? Are they sticking? Is this? Are you walking? Are you going slow? Are you pulling on a rope? Do you have to wind a rope up, or like a fishing game? You wind it up. It's supposed to have resistance to the joysticks, or to the joysticks, and then the triggers have that feeling too. Like that's a whole nother level of gaming that no one's been able to really experience yet, and they put in this controller. Both are supposed to be a little more smaller too, honestly, to be aimed towards like the younger kids, like we were just talking. Like I'm looking at my 360 controller now, and it's got it looks like glue. I don't know what she was eating, like yogurt probably, is all over my controller. But kids are playing these things now, and thank goodness they're not dealing with the Duke anymore from the original Xbox, but they're making controllers more ergonomic and curved in, boomerang shaped almost, but smaller in to fit, younger hands. pretty much. Again, gives them more options to make down the road. Like they've had the little joystick risers or the trigger. There's other things like that. But as far as the controllers go, I think it's really cool that I could get this one, the Xbox, put on my one. But the haptic feedback thing for me is just freaking epic, and the speaker in it, and the microphone to it with a quick little and they both have the USB-C for to link them again to another console thing, or for charging for the PlayStation. As far as controllers go, yeah, I'm going with the PlayStation 5 because that's just the advancement for it is epic to me. So.
I do want to say, for the Xbox, if you have older controllers, you can use them on the new system. On the PlayStation, if you can use your PlayStation 4 controllers to play PlayStation 4 games, but you can't use your PlayStation 4 controllers to play PlayStation 5 games.
Okay, because I guess the feedback thing and all. Okay, very good. All right, guys. Let's get into the last little bit here, wrap it up with our overall feel, loves, and hates for these consoles. Before we do, I want to mention a little side note of two things that went on. No, I'll save it for the news. Because that'll work as news, just so we can say we have a news section. Okay. Overall feels, man, the biggest thing that I like about the Xbox is that they hit both ends of killing it with the specs, and they tried hard on that. Here's your $500 version, and then here's the S, all digital, $299. You can get it in your household. They dropped the ball with actually functionally, being able to use it as far as playing a new game for this, and being immersed with it with a controller. So specs are just so close anyway. First out with the games with the PlayStation 5 and the controller with the haptic feedback and everything new there. Between the consoles, honestly, the only thing, if I played games a lot, it would be definitely a PlayStation 5. Mainly just my love for Fable, and I guess just biased to Xbox. But ultimately, no, I think PlayStation 5 is the better buy of right now. Unless, you're not going to get into it that much. Like you said at the beginning of this, Brandon, $299 for Xbox S. Being able to do this is great. I don't know. How about you?
I'm getting both, so it doesn't matter. But if I had to pick one, I'm picking the PlayStation. Just because the exclusives now, just because I like how they're going off, they're going off and trying new things. That being said, I think Xbox is doing a great job of, they don't care what you're on, so they just want you to play their games. You can play on the computer, you can even play on your phone with the streaming service now. They're like, hey, here's a cheap option, just come play. And I really, really admire what Xbox is doing. And I think in a couple of years, they're really going to make a push and be the console that I remember them being when Fable and Halo was coming, and Gears of War back in the 360 time, or the original Xbox, where everyone I knew had an Xbox. Because this week right now, most people are having to pick, because pre-orders starts this week, PlayStation or Xbox. If you can afford both, get the PlayStation. Get the one with the disc drive. Overall, it's going to save you more money. Because if you go discless, you have to pay whatever they tell you the price is on the stores, less discount. You're going to be spending more money. So, that's my opinion. And in a few months, in November, when I get both systems, I might change my mind. I might say, hey, it was a bad idea by the PlayStation. Xbox really did this good. But we won't know until then.
Right. Yeah, and that's something, like you said, with with the ones with the disc drive, like I mentioned earlier, the Xbox can play like so much backwards compatible if you have the disc drive. So that's one big kind of downside with their features of the S is that obviously you're not gonna be able to put a disc in there from your 360 and play it. Just a little side note. Okay, Cody.
Yeah. So I'm liking the Xbox when it comes to like, I think just alone with the Game Pass, the great access they have with they're giving everybody through Game Pass and the Xbox Live they got going on, it would be enough for me. I appreciate the Game Pass so much. I think it's a brilliant idea, and I can only see us getting more from it. I do love that the Xbox, like we talked about, Xbox S series is just more available for everyone. I understand the digital only versions coming out. I mean, we're evolving as gamers as we're going more digital, more discless, and I understand like why you would do that. But that was a good point about how if they sell it on their stores, that's the price. Yeah, they might have discounts, but it's usually nothing compared to like places like GameStop and like places that we were used to go when we were kids to go and get these games. That you can get them for discounts. You can get them used. You know, you can't get a used digital copy of anything. So it does change a bit. I'm a little torn. I do like both between the exclusives and what the Xbox has to offer. I want to, and it's you gotta take. These are all predictions. We need to get our hands on it. Literally hands on the controllers. And you can feel it. You can see how it is. We can see how they play, and then we'd be able to give better reviews on it. As of now, I'm a cold-hearted Xbox fan. I think it would look better in my room. It would, it feels nice. I like the backwards compatibility. I can play Psychonauts, or I can play the Splinter Cells. You know, I can go back and if I want to play one of these old games, I don't have to. All right, I gotta unplug this. Gotta go find this.
Right.
I can just put it on my Xbox X, and it's nice. I do hope that it's gonna get better. I feel like it does have potential, and I'm a pretty patient guy. I don't mind waiting a little bit. So I would go for the Xbox X Series X, S&X. God, I hate it so much.
Never mind. The name's terrible. I can't do it. I did want to mention, I'm glad you said the word GameStop. A little food for thought for everybody. Like, I think we're beginning to see brick and mortar stores are already having a hard time compared to a lot of the digital things that are coming out. So now the freaking companies that brought up these stores, Game Exchange, GameStop, whatever other ones that have come and gone, but now they have a whole console. Like, so the people that will have the 299S or the other PlayStation 5, the 499 or 399, all digital, like they do not need to go to a controller. Maybe they'll probably order that online. Like, that's going to really hit some of these franchises and companies and stuff. So that's just something to keep an eye out, and think about later down the road. But are we wrapping this up, Brandon? Last takes before we touch a little bit of news and then get to our quiz?
You're talking about the physical thing, just real quick. I know for a fact, kind of, that most stores are getting a very low quantity of the PlayStation 5s, and I would imagine same with the Xbox. I know most stores are getting under 20 of the disc and under some single digit of the discless, the digital version of the PlayStation. And if I remember what I heard correctly, it's going to be the same thing for the Xbox. So if you are going to go to a store, if you're listening to this episode, you're too late.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry. Just, you gotta find a way to
Brandon
get it.
has been trying.
This whole episode, I've refreshed Walmart's page 20 times. I'm on it right
That's
now.
what you've been doing. I hear every once in a while we talking, I can see like glazed over look like, what do we? All right. Okay. Time for news. Quickly. All right. Just before, again, I tried this so I don't forget about these things. So if y'all didn't hear, the little powerhouse handheld Nintendo 3DS has now been executed. They are no more longer at all producing that bad boy. Which one kind of thought the same thing with the Switch? Like Nintendo, like I don't know why everyone just like decides to hop on like the hate train for Nintendo every once in a while. They came out 3DS, or everyone's like, that's gonna be cool for just a little bit, and why are they still trying to make stuff handheld? And like that thing rocked and rolled for like it's really cool. And then same with the Switch, like that's neat, but that's just not very cool. It's whatever. I think it spiked up in a lot more sales and predictions than what people thought. But that, and then just about the Oculus Quest 2, which the VR system is out as far as VR goes. Super cool. This thing mainly just way more VR-esque, I guess you'd say, to keep it simple. And it's also Wi-Fi, so nothing like tethered. It's simple to use. Wi-Fi connects to your computer. Boom, VR game, play it. That's what I wanted to cover pretty much for the news. And then you mentioned that Microsoft buying out Bethesda. But anything else?
Harry Potter, that's pretty freaking cool, dude. I'm so excited for that game.
Yes.
If I don't go Slytherin, I don't know what I'll do. It made me rewatch.
What if we've been talking about a game like this for a long time? You know, like we've gotten like Lego Harry Potter, right? You know, like, I don't know how many Harry Potter games there are out there, but I've never played one. But this finally looks like something I would get into, because this is like the Harry Potter game that we've all talked about, we've all dreamed about, and I feel like it's gonna work. If it's gonna happen, if it's gonna be sick.
Yeah, they've already built the world and stuff around it. Like, you know, like, so you go into it, like you just said, Brandon, like, I don't know, be Slytherin. Like, there's other games like that. You're like, this one looks like the bad side, or I'm going to be like an Assassin's Guild or something. Like, you know who Hufflepuff is and Ravenclaw and all this and that. And it's supposed to be, I think, pre-Harry Potter times. So I feel like there's a chance you'll get in there and, like, meet his dad or, like, fight his dad in, like, a Quidditch game or something like that. Like,
it's going to be way, way before that. I think 1,000 years before.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay.
It might be 100. One of those two.
Well, that gives them good grounds to grow if they start way that back, and then you can kind of maybe do like a, I don't know. I was saying, can you go through all 4 years, or is it like your first year, and then you can like do the Mass Effect thing and bring your character from like your freshman year into your sophomore year?
I think it's supposed to be all the years, but we really don't know too much about it yet. I am so excited. I hope they kind of do like a Fallout where you kind of have to go to a little test, whatever, or some kind of challenge. So yeah, I can't wait. Ooh. I can't. Okay. You know what game it kind of reminds me of? I kind of hope it's like. You remember Bully?
Oh yeah.
From Rockstar.
Huh.
But you would actually go and do the classes
and do your
I don't know why I was like, bring me back to school. I want to learn how to do spells. I'm so excited. I love Harry Potter.
I hope, it can be like Bully mixed with like the doing the work thing of like the old Sims herbs. We have to do your job so you go to class, but like the skilled like joystick set of like Skate, where you have to know how to like move the joystick just right to do like a kickflip or something, is you can like move the joystick right and be like Leviosa or whatever, and like float something or blow some shit up and stuff. Yeah, lots of potential. My expectations are already set. Don't let me down. Enough said.
Yeah, well, trust me, the longer we go, we will keep bringing this up. If you want any of the Harry Potter game news, this is your podcast.
Gets me so excited in my panties.
Right on.
Okay, so with this quiz, Dakota.
Oh yeah.
Do I get to play on a quiz?
So, this is yes, Franklin. We'll be able to get your first quiz game in here.
Easy money.
This is the first Coda quiz. So I wanted to do something
my coffee with
similar,
sugar and penis.
but interesting. So, oh my god, yeah. Go back to this one. So this is something. It's going to be top 5 games with the most sequels. So these game franchises have the most titles.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So we're just going to do top 5, and I didn't know whether if we wanted to just you say one and if it's on it, or if I try to get you go from 5 to 1 and see if you can guess it.
Let's just spit them out, and if we get in a stuck or a rut, you help us.
You want to go back and forth? You want to go first?
Yeah, because we can't just be talking, I guess. So we'll go back and first. Let me go first. Let me get this one out of the way. Final Fantasy.
Okay.
Damn it!
Final Fantasy. Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Final Fantasy is number 4.
Whoa!
Whoa.
Number 4. Yep, it has a total of 80 titles.
Holy shit.
We have games under like Final Fantasy Umbrella, FF Universe, Final Fantasy Tactics, Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles.
Yeah, and all the...
It's very, very popular on Japan.
Yeah.
That side of the factory. They have titles that we don't even have over here.
Yeah. All the handheld
But
stuff, too.
no, that
If I remember correctly, Final Fantasy VI was known as Final Fantasy 1 in the States.
Really?
I am going to go with Mario, Super Mario.
yes, Mario is number 1.
Wow.
It's got a total of 119 titles.
That was my second.
Anywhere from he started in Donkey Kong. Of course, that doesn't count. But we have Mario Kart, all the Mario parties, Mario Olympics, Mario Tennis, any sport. There's probably a Mario game about it.
Yeah.
We have, I think, there's just it's
Dr.
been around
Mario.
forever, and it just keeps getting made. Like kids are gonna want to play Mario games. Adults are gonna want to play Mario
Yeah.
games. Yeah, that's a big one. He's been number 1 in a lot of stuff.
Definitely. Long live you, little fire-spitting Italian man. Italian. Okay. I'm stuck at 1. I'm trying to think bigger than this, but my little brain ain't getting there. Okay. Gosh, Final Fantasy was 4? What the hell?
That's
2 and
crazy.
3. This isn't even gonna be on there. Resident Evil.
Resident Evil would be number 8 if we did a top 10.
That's what I thought. Good.
It has
gravy.
32 titles, actually. I didn't think it would have that many titles, but I didn't know there was that many Final Fantasy games. I mean, Resident Evil games.
I wonder if they're counting because in Japan they're called Biohazard.
Right,
Even though
right.
they're
They've
the
got a
same
little.
game. I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
going to go. I forgot what my pick was. Now I'm freaking out. Oh no. Pokemon.
Pokemon is number 5.
Oh, damn it.
Of course, it's been around for a long time. We all grew up with it. It started with Red and Blue. Has 15 main titles, but that's not including the 6 different mystery dungeons, 2 pinball games, 3 Pokemon Ranger games, 4 Pokemon Rumble games, and 6 Pokemon stadiums, battles, and tournaments, and the 23 miscellaneous like anything Pokemon game at 59 titles.
Jeez.
So
That's
there's 2
something.
more in this top 5.
Gosh.
Do you think we know what they are?
You would, if you were to hear it, you'd be like, yes. Number 2,
Say it.
yeah.
Don't. Okay.
No, like number 2 and 3 is what we're missing.
Oh, God. And they're pretty popular. Like, have I probably played one of them?
Oh! I'm sorry.
Oh,
No, this can't be it. There's no way they have 100 of this. Never mind.
Right.
Which stink, Franklin.
Oh,
I was
gosh,
gonna
Mario
say
had,
I was gonna say Madden, but there's no way.
Nah, not even on top 10.
Uh,
Get out.
Hey, in about 80 years.
Right? They're going to keep making it until football goes away.
I'm trying to dig deep and think of old games that are still around because that makes sense. They've had more time to make more games. I don't think Sonic would be up there. I don't think Zelda's had that many. But see, Mega Man's made a crap load too, and I looked into that before. There's not. Oh, jeepers, dude. I just had another one too. I was thinking of like a
Oof. Oh, man.
uh,
About to pass it.
Zelda.
What do you got? Zelda would be number 10 on the list at
that's what I
30 titles.
Dang it! I had another
Yep.
one. Or yeah,
There's
okay.
been quite a few.
Yeah, I didn't think
There's
it'd
been
be
quite
up
a
there.
few Zeldas.
Man,
But, it is up there.
2 more. I have a feeling it's going to be a Nintendo game
Right.
because they sell so many different of the same kind of game. You know, they got Mario.
Which thing?
This is a tough one. Oh God. Oh my God, my wife's looking at me. Love you, babe. I'll see you in a little
The
bit.
ultimate
After
strategy.
this episode.
Or I could start giving hints and see who calls it first.
I'm not gonna get this one.
Okay, so for number 3,
Okay.
one of y'all have already said it out loud, but not have confirmed.
Oh shit, that was me. What'd I say?
It started off as a platformer.
Donkey Kong.
It is pretty old.
No.
Donkey Kong is not it, but it is number 7.
Fuck. What did I say?
Number 8.
Hold
So yeah, it's been around. It's been around for a while. Iconic side scroller, really unique. It had a good audio, kind of retro soundtrack to it. When you got collectibles in the game, it would make a nice like ding ding sound.
the fuck?
Main character is pretty fast.
Sonic.
Sonic.
Yeah, it's Sonic.
Damn it.
Really? That
Really?
Number 3, Sonic the Hedgehog with 80 titles. Yeah, 80.
How's that work?
Did not know there's that many Sonic games.
Who got the point?
It has I heard Brandon first.
Yeah, I thought so.
Brandon got it first.
Oh,
They have a lot of
Alright,
3DS games, like the 2D. You have like 12 2D platformers, 3
I guess because he's in the
12
Mario
2D
Olympics.
platformers.
He's in
They have
Smash
like
Brothers.
literal arcade games. Yeah. So it's pretty. He does have more racing games than Mario, though. Did not know that. All right, so number 2,
Okay. Ready.
also old.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Also old, also platformer. Every time they made another game of it, it was just the next number until they got to a certain point. So like it's like this,
Like
and then like 12.
Final Fantasy.
Right, like a whole bunch of numbers. I'm trying to remember. I think the second character is like a red guy.
What second character? I was thinking.
That's probably not good.
I need to think this out loud. Damn it, Brandon! Don't mess this over. Is it a fighting game?
No.
Tekken Street Fighter. Okay, I was thinking for a second like fighting game. Yeah. Okay.
I was thinking Mortal Kombat too, so.
It has 11 main titles. It has
Mega Man.
4. Yes.
Yeah. Sounds on
It
the
is
right
Mega
track.
Man.
Yeah. Okay.
Alright, let's be honest. When was the last time we
Nope.
played a Mega Man game?
Right, that's true. 103 titles,
Man.
just short of Mario, at 119 titles. Yeah. So the top 10, it's gonna be Zelda, and then 9 is Donkey Kong, 8 is Resident Evil, 7 is Castlevania, 6 is Dragon Quest.
Wow.
Which Dragon Quest is really really good overseas.
It sounds like a lot of these are really big overseas. What about Mortal Kombat and like Metal Gear Solid?
They're not on the list that I have right
really
now.
thought Mortal
But
Kombat
those
would
are
be.
Yeah, I was definitely feeling a fighting
that
game.
has to be close.
So I was thinking like Soul Calibur because I feel like that'd be big overseas and like other stuff I didn't know about. But
Yep, that's your coded quiz of this episode. That's all I got.
It looks like I need to come with a new one next week.
Yeah, Brandon. How about that, Brandon? You get next quiz.
My
about that,
favorite
Brandon?
chest hair. That one. Sorry.
Can't be a Madden quiz. Or
super
some shit.
super biased. Just a Brandon game.
Top
Yeah.
Madden.
What is?
Top Madden characters?
It's
Go.
just Madden and WoW.
All Ratchet and Clank weapons.
Yeah. Oh God. All right, guys.
Because he's in his head right now. Oh man, there's like the shotgun. And then
Yeah,
there's,
he's
like, this-
thinking about it.
he's nerding out.
That's the worst part of it. He's laughing because like he's like they wouldn't fucking know. They don't know my game.
Top five hardest mounts to get in WoW.
Yeah. God. All right. Done. Let's put a fork in this beef of an episode. Good stuff, guys. Oh, goodness. Okay, and we'll have to... Yeah, I forgot what we're going to do for this next episode. Lots of things coming down the line. This is the Game Chatter Podcast, episode 7. For you all, find us on your
Thank
social
you
pages
so much.
and everything else. Yeah, gamechatr@gmail.com. Find us on the Discord, Instagram, Twitch, all that good stuff. I appreciate for your listening. And any final words, boys?
Yes, there can only be one Highlander.
Oh, I'm waiting on this crappy
All right.
quiz next week.
Howdy.
Later.
Smoochie boochies.